this man, Deshaun Watson just can't catch a break, bro. I, I, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, bro. The game at the very least could have been tied, went to overtime, and it could have been decided. We could have seen potentially a 400 plus yard game from Deshaun Watson against Indianapolis once again. But in spectacular Houston Texans fashion, Keke Coutee catches a great ball down the middle of the field to end up on what like the 5 yard line on Indianapolis sides. Catches the ball, doesn't go down, and literally just fumbles the fucking ball game away. He literally just fumbles it away. But let's go ahead and get into it. About to get ready to do all the shout outs and make sure everybody that come through, make sure y'all smash that like button. Sprucey, what's good? Dre D, Tay Hill, Cool Amber, Danny Martinez, Mitch's Corner of Mayhem, Emmanuel Momo, QG. Bro, didn't I tell you to bet against my boys today? Didn't I tell you? Okay, I see you want some money. Alonzo Hill, Kenneth, what's good? Charles Montgomery, Ashmel, Myron Benson, Purple Drink, Broderick, Adrian, Jonathan Jackson, Steve Harris, K Sims, Dirty South Scout, Mal Miles, King Jaja, Beyond. Man, y'all welcome to the stream, man. Make sure y'all smashing that like button. Tevin, what's good? H-Town Slim 11, what's good, bro? This this team, bro, we just don't we just don't get it done. But let's go ahead and get into the game, man. If I ain't miss you, I ain't dish you. We're gonna make sure you shout everybody out. As we get more people in, make sure y'all smashing that like button as you come on in. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe. Make sure y'all check out Saw Sports as well as the rest of everybody on the round table. And once again, the defense started out extremely slow against the Colts offense. They started out extremely slow, and they couldn't tackle worth a damn. They couldn't stop Jonathan Taylor coming up the middle, but that was to be known once you get rid of DJ Reader. They were running. He was running. He was gassing us. Dudes were bouncing off of tackles. Dudes had penalties. Ray, what's good, bro? Man, what's good with it, man? Hey, Will Lock, what's good? Y'all make sure y'all smashing that like button, man. It's not really that we knew that this game wasn't gonna it result in a loss, but it's the way we lost. Like you catch a beautiful post route, you go up and go get that thing, and then you get down. You actually you still got forward momentum. All you had to do was just fall down. You had more than enough time. You had timeouts left, and you want to get cute. You are not that guy, Keke. I understand against the Colts, you look very well. I'm all for how you play against the Colts because you have been giving the Colts some major problems as you did today along with Chad Hansen. Shout out to him once again. But it's just one of these situations, man, where you immediately go down. You had well over 50 something seconds. You had two timeouts remaining, and the Colts defense was getting very, very nervous. But let's go ahead and get into the Colts offense and how they played. Man, Phillip Rivers didn't do a whole lot. I mean, he completed some first downs where he could. He got sacked like once by Charles Minnie who showed up on one play. And we'll probably get into some individual performances, but it's a shame that 2 games in a row, regardless of the outcome, the Colts get the benefit of the doubt because they won those games, and those games they should have won handily. Jerry's Rue was good. OG said OG was good. Purple Drink was good. It's just one of these things, man, where the Colts really should have just been blowing us out in these last 2 games, which I thought pretty much was going to end up being the situation. Once again, T.Y. Hilton, great in the first half, cools off in the second half. He caught that big pass, on that post route. He had the guys, I guess they were in the cover two, and it's just like, what is wrong with this defense not playing? We'll get to that play in just a second. The Jonathan Taylor was doing what he wanted to do in the first half. T.Y. Hilton was doing what he wanted to do in the first half. The only person who really showed up on defense in the first quarter was Zach Cunningham, but he got caught lacking, in a couple of areas, in coverage, But what do you expect? It's supposed to happen. I mean, the guys giving you his all. Him and Tyrell Adams, they played their ass off today. JJ Watt was trying to create as much pressure as he could, but he couldn't really get to him today. Today was, it just wasn't his day. I mean, I'm not really down on him because this is what I expect at this point. Because what does he really have up front to really help him? Whitney Merciless was a complete no show as usual. What else do we have? We had the secondary was letting up big plays. When they were giving up third downs. They just weren't making sound tackles. But then, and they picked it up in the second half. I have to give Anthony Weaver his credit once again in the second half. They were pretty much shutting the Colts down, and in spectacular fashion again. We're shutting the Colts down for a long period of time, and just like clockwork, that 41-yard post ends up happening to T.Y. Hilton, and they end up going for the scoring touchdown. A couple of plays later, T.Y. had a good game. Phillip Rivers had an okay game. The offensive line of the Colts is just they were doing what they wanted to do. Like they did everything they wanted to do. Um, it was ridiculous. They were making these big ass giant holes, in the middle between the B and the A gaps, all game long. Jonathan Taylor had all the time in the world to do exactly what he wanted. And I thought the game was gonna get out of hand very early when I saw but luckily Philip Rivers had missed his pass. It was on I wanna say on their first drive. And like right out of the gate they tried to go ahead and try that wheel route, but they did it on the strong. Did they do it on the strong side? No, they did it on the weak side this time. Cause last game they did it on the strong side and it went for 6. But this time it ended up going on the weak side. Naeem Hines couldn't bring it in, and because he had Philip Rivers had overthrew the ball a little bit. But this really wasn't an offensive onslaught overall by the Colts. It was more of a defensive. I don't know what they defense got. I don't know what the hell they had wrong with them today. These niggas had a personal problem, like because this nigga DeForest Buckner. I don't know what his problem was, but he was going the fuck off. But honestly, that's what happens when guys like Zach Fulton is going against you. It was a play late in the game. I think it was one of the last sacks that Deshaun Watson took. I think Broderick Johnson had got beat real bad. And this bitch, he just stood there. Like, what are you doing? Do you have something against Deshaun Watson or something? Like, he shows no effort once he makes the initial contact. The moment that he's out of the lane, bro, he just quits on the play. If there was ever a player in a Houston Texans uniform that quits on plays, is Zach Fulton. This dude sucks, bro. Titus Howard gets hurt. Roger Johnson gets asserted. He didn't have his best day against Justin Houston, and the Nico Archer and the boys. It was a tough outing. Nick Martin, bro, that is what it is. He's not the strongest guy. He doesn't anchor well. It's something about his base, like where he tries to come up too high, like guys that are taller than him, and he tries to play like at the same height. But bro, your job is to stay underneath these guys. Like, why are you not getting underneath them? And it just throws his whole base out. It's ridiculous, bro. But Deshaun Watson, he played a damn good game. 33 for 41, 373 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was able to get out of the pocket and make some good big plays. But what really kept the Houston Texans in this game was the penalties that they had on both sides. We got a couple of penalties that ended up going our way, but it just seems like this football team with the current landscape of what we got, by not having no culture, they have nothing in place that creates any tenacity. And as I said, Anthony Weaver does get some credit to make sure that the defense was shutting them down, because it's they basically replicated the last game with the fact that they didn't really go off on passing, and like we limited the amount of third downs and the amount of total yards that they got the last game. I think they ended up scoring maybe like three or so more points than they did this game. But it's just one of these situations where Deshaun Watson is in a position to once again come back, show you exactly what it is. But something really truly holds on to that stat that he has. Because I'm not sure if y'all saw the graphic when it popped up, but two or more sacks in the game, dude. I forgot what his loss total was. I forgot, it was something crazy. But then when the man is sacked like two times or less, 12-0. Protection was clearly, bro, in the last two games, bro, in the last 3 weeks, Deshaun Watson, bro, before that, he wasn't even really taking sacks like that. But the last 3 weeks, bro, he's like, he got sacked 4 times against the Colts the first time. He got sacked, what, 5 times today. And then, what, last week, he took like 5 sacks, right? Something like that. So 13 sacks, 13, 14 sacks in the last 3 weeks alone. I don't know what it is with the protection. I don't know what was happening to Laramie Tunsil and all these guys up front. But, bro, they got to pick their game up. I don't know what. I understand the season's over. I got that. I get it. I get the season's over. But this game could have been at least an overtime extravaganza. Carlos Lastra was good. Yeah, I mean, these dudes gotta go, bro. They gotta go. They gotta go. Shout out to the Colts fans. Y'all get to deserve. Y'all in the position right now where it's literally out of you and the Titans. Hopefully, y'all go ahead and y'all sit them down. Either way, I think both of y'all gonna end up making it to the playoffs. But I think when it boils down to it, if it came down to it, they have a slight edge over y'all. Only, I think the Colts are the more complete team. I think Tannehill's the better quarterback out of Phillip Rivers, but the run game is on the Titan side. But the Colts ain't really far behind the Titans in the run department. They can get it done with Naeem Hines and Jonathan Taylor from what I've been able to see. And that old line, bro, we don't even need to talk about it. You seen the way that these guys were getting pushed around. They didn't allow any pressure really. I know Charles Omenihu fought through a sack, but even on that sack that he took, it's just like it was just a matter. It was more of a cover sack really than anything because the guy just kind of fought through at the end. Phillip Rivers is holding on to the ball. He latched onto him, took him down. It was a play that was made, but it's just like more plays need to be made by this football team. I don't know. We don't have any playmakers on defense, guys who can really get it done. I can't even call J.J. Watt a playmaker this year, even though he's probably the second or third best. As far as performance this year, he's probably like the third best player we've had this year. Number one is hands down is Zach Cunningham. I said that before the season. Tyrell Adams. Bro, Tyrell Adams hasn't even played for us a full season. And I want to say today, he was already like 91 tackles before this game even started. He got 11 tackles today. So that means he's at every bit of 102 tackles and has only been playing for this team for like 8 weeks. Now, I won't say that. As far as big hits, though, as far as a hitter, I agree. I agree. But overall, I don't believe he's a better player. But he has to be resigned. McKinney, this game, like, it seals it. He has to go. Yeah, Adams, I think Adams is going to get taken care of. I don't really see him. He tries hard. He's in position. He makes big plays. He gets big stops. So, it is what it is. I mean, with the whole JJ thing, whoever comes in next, they're going to have to come to, see what they can do because there's no way he deserves to get $17 million next season. I mean, regardless of what he's done in the past, regardless of this, regardless of that, regardless of what he's done in the community, there's no way as a player on the field he deserves $17 million in his last year, as a Houston Texan. I just don't see that, that he hasn't earned that money. I mean, he was earning it over the first 2 or 3 years of his contract, but after that, it's been injuries, of the 3 years that his contract went into effect, I could say maybe 2 he held his end of the bargain, which was the last year he had with Clowney and the 15 season, because I don't think his contract went into effect until 2015, and he was the defensive player of the year that year. Scotty Phillips, he did his game. We're gonna end up talking about the offensive side of the ball, and I don't understand why it took so long for them to just put the ball in Deshaun Watson's hands. It was just like the brunt kept getting blown up. I understand David Johnson had a decent game this game. I want to say he had 11 receptions, 11 catches for 106. And he made some big plays today in the passing game. But I feel like if you're gonna use David Johnson, that's what you have to utilize him as a passing option. Running the ball with him, with the exception of a couple of plays that he got with some big key third downs. I don't see why they run this dude so much. But Buddy Howell and the other dude that they had today, they actually had a decent game. Chad Hansen came right back out, was wide open on that touchdown that Deshaun Watson threw. Keke made a spectacular catch, on that on the play that he caught for a touchdown. He caught a great ball at the end of the game, but only to fumble it away. And it's just like, how do we lose back-to-back games to the Colts in that close proximity of scoring a touchdown, and it happens again? But it's only the Houston Texans' luck. It's one of the things I was saying. Remember a couple of years ago? Remember when we went 0-3 and then we ended up being like 11-5 when the season was over, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing this, we're doing that, man." I kept saying like week in, week out. I'm like, bro, we're playing the last place schedule. We're not really beating dudes. Like literally, teams were beating themselves. Like with the exception of a couple of kickers not making the kicks and this and that. It's just like that whole win is a win shit. Remember that whole a win is a win, and everybody was acting like, oh, it ain't on the coaches, oh, it ain't on this, or it ain't on that. Well, shit, how's that serving us now? Because the ball ain't falling our way like it always almost never does. You know what I'm saying? Farrell Brown, he caught a couple of big passes today. Kahale Warring, man, he actually caught some decent passes today. It was good to see him finally get in the mix, and we can have something that we can base him off of. And this was a good team for him to get some good production against. But overall, the tight ends, they played okay today. The running backs, they were what they were, but the passing game was just like I didn't even realize like Deshaun Watson had 373 yards. Like before the half, it was like he was already at like 200. I was like, damn, already? Like we were in the Discord and Wise was like, damn, he got 200 yards already? And it's just like, bro, we made a lot of big plays on offense once we finally started getting it kicking, but it was just too little too late. And I think that they played that T.Y. Hilton caught in the second half was really the backbreaker, because it seemed as if Frank Wright wanted Deshaun, hey, go ahead and score so we can hurry up and get this pass back, because you saw they weren't really utilizing their timeouts like that. We ended up using a timeout right before we had got the ball back on that last drive where we were driving far down the field, and it just seemed as if, Frank Wright was just letting these dudes play lax because he didn't want his defense, gassed up. Just in case, like, hey, we do need to make some plays and we do potentially go to overtime, we have something left in the tank. And, Deshaun Watson was just getting it done. We got a penalty that ended up going our way. I think it was like a pass interference or something like that. Oh, it was a personal foul, I think, on Xavier Rhodes on Deshaun Watson when he went out of bounds on a late hit or some shit like that, which ended up, going in our favor. And it's just like we moving the ball. And on a 4th and 5, you have a great play, a great design. Keke catches the ball, just doesn't want to go down because he wants to be Superman. Bro, you haven't been Superman all year. You're not going to start now. Just go down. I know he's gonna be beating himself up over this, and he has to take major criticism for this because he literally fumbled the ball away. Yeah, Akins, he almost got it, but this football, bro, if you ever play football just go somewhere. It's hard to get a football when it's on the ground. And that ain't no easy thing to get. People just trying to make it seem like you can just scoop up a football like it's not. Nah, bro, you don't do that. And if your stomach ever landed on the football, bro, that shit hurt, bro. That shit hurts. It's excruciating. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of these things, man, where you know the defense for the Colts was just playing out of their mind. The Colts, the Texans defense started playing out of their mind in the second half. I forgot at one point they had held them to like 70 something yards like in the second half, and then they started to pick it up. Cooks, he even had a good day. He had the ribs too. Yeah, all that shit hurt. Like landing on the football, that shit do not feel good. But it's just like Brandon Cooks, he had a decent game. It wasn't as big as I thought it would have been, but it was good to see him back out there. But I think the guys who really stepped up, who can look forward going to, is Warring. Chad Hansen definitely needs to remain in the lineup. Hopefully, we can get Carr back next week. I just want to see this offense play, well. That's really all I really care about. I care about the offense playing up to a certain standard and being able to put Deshaun Watson in a situation where his numbers at least can show he can get it done with practically anybody on the field. But he at this point, the protection is waning for him. It's waning for him, and it's just like I'm tired of seeing this dude not having the protection that is needed, because for so long throughout this season, protection wasn't even really a problem. It was a huge indication that it was still a problem early on in the first 4 games or so. Bill O'Brien leaves, it improves dramatically, and then in the last 3 weeks, it's like it's starting that all over again, and the protection is breaking down for so many facets in the game. The interior is just trash. Titus Howard has been inconsistent over the last couple of weeks, and it just seems like the lack of effort hasn't really been there over the last few weeks. And it's just like dudes are getting beat left and right. But let me go ahead and get into some of the things that y'all talking about. Yeah, man, 54 million, and this dude only got like one tackle. That shit is a damn shame. How do you feel about this offense with a new coach? Come on, man. Come on, man. With this offense right now, if we're just having Carr back, if you don't change anything, and you give us Carr back, you give us Fuller back, this defense, bro, it's just think about this right now. The passing offense, I want to say the Texans are one of the top offenses in the league right now. Deshaun Watson was already like second or third. I'm pretty sure he jumped back to the second spot. He's probably leapfrog. Well, yeah, I think Mahomes was like 200 something yards ahead of him before this game. But when you really think about where he is, throwing damn near 400 yards, and I feel like if he goes to overtime, he throws easily 450 yards, easy. So I'm pretty sure he's back to second in passing. Deshaun Watson, he didn't throw any interceptions today. He had the fumble. He held on to the ball a little bit on that play, but he literally, when you look at the pocket, the way that pocket broke down, he didn't have any way to step up. He couldn't step left. He couldn't step right. It would have been cool to say, yeah, throw the ball away, but then how do we? He gets called for intentional grounding. He's going to get called for intentional grounding on those plays. So I think that's a major reason why he was at least trying to make something happen, because if he doesn't, then they go ahead and they bring in the house again. But who is the right coach for this team? Honestly, man, I'm staying on the Benemy train, bro. I'm really just feeling what this guy's doing. I like the dude from the 49ers, Robert Saleh or whatever his name is. You can bring me anybody from Pittsburgh. I'm with it. Anybody from Pittsburgh. Um, um, it's a few guys, man. I like a few guys. But Benemy, Sally, those are the two guys that I think probably fit the most. Oh yeah, Buffalo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The dude from Buffalo too. Oh, bruh, bruh. He is nice. The dude that's running a defense, and the dude that's the offensive coordinator for them, real nice. Here, Juju will be available. You know what? Since we getting ready to go into the off season anyway, we can talk about some receiver possibilities if we don't go in the draft and we don't go grab anybody. But Juju Odell, I think if man, because Odell really isn't serving the Browns well right now. I think Kareem Hunt is in a situation where he could potentially be released because they have a lot of cap, and the fact that they're actually playing some players right now because Denzel Ward's contract is coming up. It's a few guys that they're gonna end up having to pay. I see a situation where we could probably get Odell or Kareem Hunt to come on this football team. And, Odell has not been the distraction he was a couple of years ago when he was with the Giants. If you get Odell with Fuller, Cooks, and the rest of these guys, and if you were somehow able to get a guy like Kareem Hunt, man, that's a beautiful situation for us to be in, and I think that you can be able to concentrate on the defense, building that front back up because the defensive front is lacking so bad, and the fact that we need somebody on this defense to build it back up who knows talent. I still feel like Aaron Jones, I love Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones for the Packers, I see him getting resigned. I don't see, because Aaron Rodgers went without a running back for so many years after Eddie Lacy had his first 2 years in the season. I see no reason why they don't keep him on this team. Jones ain't gonna cost too much. No, he's not. This will be his second season in a row he's had 2%. No, he won't. Running backs don't cost like that anyway. The only reason why Zeke got paid was because of the level and the fact that he led the league. And when you're a two-time rushing leader and you've led the league in touchdowns, you have to get paid. And let's be real, he's the focal point of the Dallas offense before they got outside weapons for Dak. So Dak wasn't the guy that he is right now before Zeke ended up getting paid. So we can't act like he's a major contributor. What I mean? So Cook's not guaranteed. Yeah, Cooks. I don't mind not a contract for Cooks because he has missed some games this year. He got concussed once again, but he has been pretty good with Deshaun Watson. I like what I see. I think like with Fuller, I think he ends up getting franchise tagged. If anything, you can't give him a long term. You cannot commit long term to Will Fuller until he proves 2 years in a row with franchise tag that he can be the man. I think he has to prove it 2 years in a row. You do not keep Hargraves, bro. You get him out of here. Bud Dupree, definitely bring him in. Definitely bring in Bud Dupree. Definitely do that. Facts. We got to keep Fuller. Yeah, we keep Fuller, but you don't sign him to a long term deal. Especially he has no negotiating power as it stands right now because you haven't had any season that's healthy. You haven't had 10 plus receiving touchdowns. You haven't had 1,000 yard season, even though you were on your way. You didn't miss any games this season, which I respect, at least due to injury, but you ended up missing the last 6 games of the season when Deshaun Watson could have been in a position, and they can use that against him. Like, damn, you do this, you pop out at the end of the season, and now you put our playoff hopes were really leaning upon you because our chances went way down the moment that Will Fuller was not on the field. So, and you can look at the performances right before we lost him and can see, where Deshaun Watson was trending. And before he went down, Deshaun Watson was in the MVP conversations, regardless of record. Garyon, I don't even think you can even bring him back right here at this point. I mean, I understand what we saw last year, but just because we saw it last year doesn't mean we were going to see it this year. And he has no leverage either. Garyon Conley has no leverage. He has no leverage whatsoever. He has no leverage. He's seen the way that this team went down. He can easily be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm ready to go ahead and get in." And I don't really see, any guys really wanting to re-up right now anyway because of the current situation that we have. And until they get some things in order, I don't know. I mean, Conley might want to stay. I mean, I think he likes the team. I likes the fact of what we have. But at the end of the day, it's not benefiting him to stay here. It's not really benefiting him to stay here. He might as well go somewhere else. If we being honest. Pat Pete, I don't see. No, if Gary doesn't get the job, no other GM is gonna create a Houston culture but Gary Jones. There's no other. I don't even know how niggas are even getting excited about Lewis Riddick. Lewis Riddick, I get it, but I get it for obvious reasons. But Lewis Riddick, he- I like Lewis Riddick. I have no problem with Lewis Riddick, but what he did with the Eagles and what he did with the Eagles, what he did with the Redskins, not that impressed. And at the end of the day, why not put a new face on somebody who's unpredictable, somebody who has respect out here, and it's a shame because of namesake. Y'all really don't know, but I know how plugged in Garrett Jones really is. And I ain't even finna relay it because once them cards fall down and once the dominoes fall where they lay, y'all gonna know where y'all heard it first. I'm just saying, I ain't finna give a man strategies. I'm not finna do none of that. All I can say is, when he plugged in for real. So just because we recognize John Dorsey, and just because and I like John Dorsey, I like John Dorsey strictly just off of what he can do from a drafting perspective, drafting, and the fact that I know he's going to utilize money to get. Yeah, but he's just there as a consultant. I'm on Garrett Jones. Period. But if I had to have another option, I already know we had to. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Lewis Riddick, but he's at 3. He's not at 2. Like, I see people like wanting Lewis Riddick really over anybody, bro. Lewis Riddick has done nothing, and as a GM at any place that he's been at. I understand. I would want him here for some obvious reasons, but it is what it is. I'm gonna let people sleep on Garrett Jones as much as any, because once he get in, I mean, y'all gonna find out. I ain't gonna get nothing away. Y'all just gonna see. Y'all gonna see, and y'all gonna be like, bro, what the fuck? But that's all I'm gonna say. But it is what it is, man. Definitely, I like John Dorsey though. I do like John Dorsey. I know he gonna spend that money, and I know he gonna draft, and he knows how to make deals in a sense to where he can get draft picks. He can get a lot of draft picks, and he has drafted very well. Ed Dodds. Ed Dodds. I've heard the name. I've heard the name. I'm trying to remember where he's coaching at right now. I have heard that name. When he's got inside sources, yeah, I'm not gonna reveal too much. I'm leaving shit close to the vest because when next season come up, and if a certain somebody come in here, Houston media won't even be needed no more. I'm gonna just put it to you like that. They won't even be needed no more. They won't even be needed anymore. They won't even have. Will be y'all gonna be we gonna be on a totally different plateau. Absolutely, but they gotta keep shit behind closed doors. I'm not gonna talk about none of that. We'll let that pan out. Just let everything work itself out. Let everything work itself out. If it does, just know shit finna change, and it's finna change quickly. Um, Dodds. Anybody on Dodds? John Smith, bro. I would take John Smith in a heartbeat, but John Smith is gonna end up getting re-signed. He's gonna end up getting re-signed. Do you think the trust to hire a competent GM and head coach? I'm gonna tell you like this: they're in a situation. The Houston Texans organization is in a situation right now where they cannot negate the fan base, and a lot. Oh, yeah, I like Ed Dodds is like the defensive coordinator or some shit like that, right? For the Colts, right? I like what he's doing. He's in turn their defense completely around. Um, Hold on, what was you saying? Yeah, the Chiefs playing. I just seen a touchdown pop up in my fantasy for Mahomes. Um, they're in a situation right now where the fan base matters. They gotta take in consideration, and they have to listen to football people. And this is a decision that they can't fuck up. They can't fuck up. They can't fuck that up. You know what I'm saying? So if they get it in, if they get in the right people, everything else is gonna run its course. Everything's gonna work out the way that it should have, and we're gonna see a lot of things that we can recognize within this organization. But I'll say it matters now. Oh, it matters, bro. They've been listening. They've been listening, bro. They've been listening. This is why our platform and what we've been doing on South Sports and all of this shit. If you think they haven't heard us, y'all sadly mistaken. They hearing us, and they hearing us loud and clear. A lot of things that we didn't talked about, a lot of things that a lot of the other fans have talked about came to fruition, and it matters, bro. It matters. I'm with you, Carlos. I'm with you, but I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna lay off of that. We're gonna lay off of that. We're gonna let the chips fall as they lay. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let the chips fall as they lay. The man resume gonna speak for itself. The connections he got and the ideas he has, no other GM is gonna have. But it's all good. It's all right. And D Money Magic, bro, you can copy the originals all you want. You'll never be better than the original. You'll never be better. So at the end of the day, they can have that now. We ain't thinking about now. We thinking about the long run. You gotta think far ahead. This chess. This ain't checkers. Quail man, what's good, bro? EP will be the next one. More than likely, he will. I mean, I don't. It's not really a situation where just when, just some of the ideas and just some of the things that I'm a little privy to. It gets me excited because as much as I would like to relay some information, I'm not gonna do it because I hold myself in some high esteem. I can keep my mouth shut, but it's gonna be real exciting if my boy get in. That's all I know. That's all I know. Y'all gonna be cheesing like a motherfucker. I can tell you that. Oh, he's as good as gone. He's as good as gone, Stephen Harris. He's as good as gone. They can't afford. He has too much backlash in the fact he got Sports Illustrated articles out about him and how he's a swindler and how he's done this and done that and the fact that this stuff is coming out about the deal. It don't make him look good. And at the end of the day, he has no leverage in this organization. He's gone. They letting it play out because the season is what it is. They're just gonna let the chips fall where they lay. The only reason I'm leaning more on Rob Sanders is because of the defense. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, I don't mind that, but you know, it's the offensive minded coaches have won the last few Super Bowls. Even when you think of the teams who've made it to the Super Bowls, who've been offensive, who've had offensive mind, the only defensive coaches who've even won over the last few years is Belichick and Pete Carroll. Everybody else has been, with the exception of John Harbaugh in 2012. If we're going back just the last 10 years, from in the Coughlin era. So if we're going back from Coughlin till the present time, Coughlin, John Harbaugh was a special teams coach, so you can't even really put him in there. You can't even really put him in there. But Jim Harbaugh is an offensive minded head coach. He played quarterback. You know what? Andy Reid just won it. Sean McVay went. Sean McVay went. Against the Patriots a couple of years ago. They making some noise. Kubiak won. Yeah, I could say. Ron Rivera went in 2015, and you saw how that game went. You know what I mean? So, I mean, when you think about a lot of teams who have won, what Frank Reich, Doug Peterson, them offensive dudes, and you see what type of Super Bowl they came up with. So it's a lot of guys over the last few years. The offensive headed mind coaches have been winning, and they've been putting the right pieces on their defenses, and their defenses have been good enough to win the Super Bowl. Deshaun, if Deshaun was to ever get a top five defense, let alone ever be like a top two or top three defense, with what he's able to do, then it'd be ridiculous. Yeah, but It's just one of these situations where if right now he even just has a top 12 defense, bro, you can expect some shit to be shaken real quick. And I say top 12, top 15. That's still middle of the road. Yeah, I think top 12 is needs to be more of where they need to try to line themselves up to, because to be able to go from 32 or 31 all the way to like top 12, that's jumping like 20 spots. That's a big leap in itself, because from that point you can only build on the cohesion, the trust that you have within these guys, and then you can start to become a top five, hell, even the top 2 or 1 defense. So it's not like the Houston Texans haven't had the capabilities. We literally in the last few years have had a number 1 overall defense. So, and that was just like 4 years ago. And, but we've gotten away from that, for multiple reasons. But now this is the time for that to recreate itself. Once we do that, it should be in order. But man, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring this stream to a close. Appreciate everybody that came through. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, share this on your social media platforms. If you have any questions, if I couldn't get to anything, if you want to talk further about the GMs and the play or Deshaun Watson or whatever else that y'all want to talk about, be sure if y'all want to talk about coaches. Any ideas that you guys have, something that you like for me to relay to a certain somebody, y'all make sure that y'all go ahead and y'all put that down in the comment section so that it can be seen. It will be getting shared. The ideas, I'm not keeping all this to myself. These things need to be talked about, but I can only do that is if y'all willing to participate. Get in this comment section, hit this like button, hit the dislike button. It don't matter to me. Like, share, subscribe, and we're going to be able to make something happen. Work with me. Don't work against us, because we only holding ourselves up from greatness. But welcome to Third Coast Sports TV. I'm your host, Wink. Talk sports, love sports, enjoy sports. Y'all enjoy y'all day. This was a hard one. Keke, get your shit together, bro. Get it together quickly.